Alright, let's, Monday, October 14th, 2019, 6 p.m., City Hall Council Chambers. 1.0 roll call.
K. Smith,
Here.
Crum,
Here.
Lockhart,
Here.
Rod Smith,
Here.
Schaefer,
Here.
Weimer.
Here.
2.0 pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.0, motion to approve the minutes from the following meetings. September 23rd, 2019, regular council meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by Kay, second by John to approve the regular council meetings. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 3.2, October 3rd, 2019, special council meeting.
Move to approve.
First by Betty,
Second.
second by Rich. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 4.0, public hearings, none. 5.0, proclamations, none. 6.0, old business, none. 7.0, new business. 7.1, resolution approving the hiring and setting salary of Parks and Recreation Assistant Directors.
One of the two candidates was a candidate for the director position, and we felt the park board and I both felt strong about them and encouraged them to apply to this assistant position. And then the other applicant is a current part-time employee that has just really demonstrated a lot of potential and benefit for the department. And in discussing with newly hired director Carr about about our options, we had 3 candidates interviewed. We thought these 2 were the best to fit the assistant director roles and help the department move forward. Director Carr apologizes; she's working flag football tonight, so she couldn't be here. But
Are these full-time positions?
these are full-time positions.
So between these 2 and Shelley, they'll all 3 be full-time?
Correct.
Can I ask what Shelley's salary is, just out of curiosity?
I'll have to look it up.
I couldn't remember either.
It's $19.15 per hour. I think it's roughly 39 something. Is that accurate enough?
Mm-hmm, that's
Okay.
close enough.
Is there, for lack of a better way of looking at this, going to be separate roles in this structure, or is there job descriptions for each individual, or I guess what kind of structure is going here? Is one going to be in charge of one area and one in charge of another area, or what?
I think potentially in the future, but that's something we kind of want to learn where they best fit. In terms of like a organizational chart, there'll be equal positions. One won't be over the other, but they'll both be under the director, obviously.
Is this, I mean, I read this and I thought it seemed extreme. So is this like a huge difference in the 3 of them, their salary, as compared to Shelley and Tyler's together?
So, in our budget, we discussed a few years ago. I don't know exactly when there was more money in their administrative budget. At some point, that got cut, and they went without it for a few years, and so it was they just had enough money for for the 2 full-time positions, and it was my perspective, they had way too much work for 2 full-time administrative people. This year they added, I think, 30,000 back in, so around a total, I think, if my memory serves correct, around 114,000 total for salaries and administrative positions, and so that covers these 3 positions, and it is more than last year that was budgeted, but I think it was necessary.
In conversations I had with Jacob before Tyler before he left, this is just kind of getting back to where they were 10 years ago, maybe, with staff.
And in terms of the salary, I mean, I don't think we could have offered much lower and gotten people to accept it. That's for the hours they're going to be expected to work, especially they are well underpaid, but it's just what we can afford as a city.
So refresh my memory, they have the pool, the LCC, then the recreational activities that they sponsor. Then they do something with grounds too, right?
Well, they
They do
do
the
the
parks?
maintenance for all the parks, and I think we have more parks than people think about.
We've got like 5
Um,
or 6, don't we?
And then in terms of programming, you really have 2 separate types of programming. You have the youth sports, which again, there's multiple leagues, multiple sports, multiple teams, and so that alone takes a lot. And then you've got your other programming, like what the work they do for Pumpkin Fest, the Tree Walk, those sorts of programs, which also take a lot of time. So between the pool and the LCC, the recreation programs, the youth sports programs, the parks maintenance, they've got a lot on their plate. I think a good comparison, and I'm not picking on Rebecca, but the library has they have 1 facility and they've got 2 full-time and 2 part-time staff, and so I don't think comparatively for the LCC facility plus their other facilities and responsibilities, 3 full-time staff is not unreasonable in my opinion.
I'll make the motion to hire 2
Second,
assistant directors.
I'll second.
First by Cody, second by Kay.
Shelley is an hourly director,
No, they're all 3 would be salaried.
all 3, okay.
Any further discussion? And it's a roll vote.
Rod Smith,
Yes,
Schaefer,
Yes.
Weimer,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
K. Smith,
Yes,
Lockhart,
Yes.
7.2, selection of architect for police department project.
I believe when we received these a while back, I sent them all to you all. Is that correct? Did you have the chance to review the submissions?
Yeah.
Okay. After reviewing them, kind of considering where we were at and what our needs were, I feel that Shive Hattery is going to offer us the right experience for what we need. And kind of what stuck out to me from their proposal is they, like the other firms, provided some project experiences, and the Mount Pleasant project really stood out. Just they had renovated a vacant grocery store, and I don't know, that seemed to be a similar project to what we're looking at, and that appeared to be quite successful. So that combined with it seemed to be that they had the most experience in law enforcement facilities, period. So thought they were the best fit for us, and they're proposing to start off with a feasibility study needs assessment at $18,200, which is a lot of money, but compared to the other prices, they structured things a little bit differently in their proposal than the other firms, who kind of tried to predict their whole cost through construction phase. This was really just that initial phase, but I think that's appropriate. This will allow them to give us a more informed opinion of the total project cost and what their costs would be going forward, so.
Is their only thing they're doing is taking the current site we're looking at and working on that? They're not doing a comparable to building new versus this or anything else, correct?
I think they will first look at what we need, trying to project what our department looks like now and what their needs are, as well as in the future. They'll, of course, look at the proposed site and make sure that fits those needs. I'm not sure if they'll look at any alternatives or not.
And how much was this again?
$18,200.
Make the motion to hire Shive Hattery to do an assessment.
Second.
First by Cody, second by Betty to hire Shai Badgerly for the police department project.
Will they be looking to see if the preliminary sketch, if you will fit the footprint or floor plan of the building? Or will they be drafting some other completely different layout based on their assessment of the structure?
I think we'll provide them with our sketch, and they might, that'll at least kind of give them an idea of what we were looking for, but I'm sure they'll also have some, advice from their experience on, well, maybe you should put that there, so.
And just so it's clear, that all this is an assessment or feasibility to see if it will work for us.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
no obligation of anything else.
no obligation above the needs assessment / feasibility study, which is what they title it in their proposal.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 7.3, request to begin residential construction on lots 1, 20, 21 within Meadow Ridge 9th and 10th edition prior to approval of final plat.
So moved.
Second.
First by Cody, second by Rich.
So this is just to allow building before we see the final plat is off?
Right.
Okay, and there'll be street lights? Just wondering.
Well, if there's not, there's several lots that we don't have to approve in the final plat.
And there's drainage.
I'm sure there's everything we approved in the preliminary plat.
We're on top of the hill.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Are these are residential?
Yeah.
Single family in a sense,
They're single family and duplex condo down on Chamber.
On lot 1.
Yeah.
If no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 7.4, 4, beer and liquor license. A, renewal of Class C liquor license with Sunday sale privileges, Mikado's Family Restaurant.
So moved.
Second.
First by Betty, second by John. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. B, renewal of Class C liquor license, living quarters with Sunday sale privileges, Deb's Sports Bar.
What does living quarters mean?
Is that in reference to apartments above?
I would assume so.
So they can sell liquor out of the upstairs apartment? Is that what we're approving?
No,
No.
It just states that there is living quarters in the same
In the
building.
premises?
I think it just has to be on their permit.
I don't think it's been that way before. If it has,
Well,
Well,
and
we-
I'm gonna be
we've get-
completely honest, when I put the liquor licenses on, I'd review them, but I pretty much pulled the language from the year before, so this was
Okay.
copied from
I
last
don't
year's
remember
permit.
it. That's
No.
been,
Well, maybe, well, I don't know whether people lived up there last year or not, or she was
Right.
just working on it, but doesn't matter.
okay, just curious.
Sounds strange.
Mhm, it does.
Gotcha.
I'll move to approve.
First by Rich.
Second.
Second by Cody. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. C, renewal of Class C liquor license, outdoor service with Sunday sale privileges, Anamosa Bowling Center.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by Kay, second by Rich. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? D, renewal of Class C liquor license and outdoor service, Tucker's Tavern.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by Rich, second by Cody. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 7.5, review and approval of current bills.
Move to approve.
Second.
First by Betty, second by Cody. Any discussion?
The, line item for the Iowa Law Academy, is that one individual? Multiples?
That is one individual. We only have one officer at the actual law enforcement academy. The other two are at shorter academies at Hawkeye Community College.
Is that the full cost for the whole thing then, for the officer to go through, or?
I believe so. Again, that would just be the tuition cost. We have other expenses like meals and, I don't know if that includes lodging or not, but you'll see there's other, and, the two officers that are at the community college, they have reimbursement for their meals and lodging in here as well, so.
So when we do this, do they have we have a contract with them,
We have an agreement.
an agreement?
I don't know the exact terms, but essentially if they leave within a certain period of time, they repay us a certain amount of these expenses.
Kinda like a sliding scale.
Yep.
how long-
I see we paid for the new server. Everything going good with that now?
We don't have it yet, but we did pay for the
Oh.
parts up front.
Okay. When's it gonna be installed?
I followed up with him last week, he said it was coming along. He had received the parts and was working on it, but I think he had to return a part that was defective when he received it and got a new one. So I'm not sure when the intended install date is.
Any further discussion on the bills? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 8.0 City Administrators Report.
I don't have a whole lot. I think the only thing I can think of is I'm going to be out of town quite a lot in the next couple weeks. I've got the Iowa Rural Water Conference in Dubuque tomorrow and Wednesday. I'll be back in the office Wednesday afternoon and Thursday. Friday I leave for the ICMA conference in Nashville, and we'll get back in town the following Friday. So I can certainly be reached by phone or email.
The property on East Main that was resurveyed, what's the next step in the process?
He was out there last week. I don't know where he's at in the process of his survey, but he was essentially doing two things. One, he was going to survey off the parcel that we could consider selling to Dean, since he did encroach upon our property and his new construction. The other thing was just verifying that the addition met the lot lines on the east and west sides of the property, because I don't know if he determined that yet or not, but if he did encroach on his neighbor's property, he would have to modify his structure.
Well, I think we should do more than just keep our finger on that pulse. Let's get this, his report or his findings from the survey sooner than later. And I guess depending upon what that report is, drives the bus whatever direction we need to go then.
Well, it's kinda hard to have others follow a rule and an ordinance if we're not upholding everybody to
Will do.
So 2 weeks, we should have, I would hope, more solid information.
I hope so.
If we do, if that report is completed, let's go ahead and make it an agenda item, depending on what that finding is.
Okay.
That's all we have.
That's all I've got, unless there's other questions.
Any other questions?
So last week you had a department head meeting. How did it go? Looks like it's one of your first with some new position people.
Yeah, Beth and Shelley were able to attend, and overall I thought the meeting went well. Discussed billing. Not too long ago we started processing bills every 2 weeks or every meeting rather than once a month. I think it's going well. Kind of usually keeps the quantity of bills down. In this case, we had a 3-week break, so we had quite a few bills this time around. But
When you have everybody there, how many are at a department head meeting?
usually there are 8 of us total. Greg was absent; he was on vacation.
Was there discussion on, I guess, ways or means to mitigate department claims for injuries, insurance claims?
I don't recall that discussion at that meeting. We did have a meeting earlier with our insurance agent specifically about safety and claims procedures.
Is that something moving forward that the city will need to keep pulse on?
Absolutely.
I don't have anything additional.
Moving on, 9.0 mayor and council reports on boards and commissions.
Well, Dale and I went to landfill meeting, wasn't a whole lot, they're still working on the roof, how to, solution to that, keep it from leaking. Now they're talking about putting all new screws in, grommets, instead of coating it. Thought that might be the way to go, but something they're checking. And the harassment policy, that was printed up, so hopefully have no problems between the workers out there and a couple of the haulers. There was a problem here a couple months ago. So hopefully that straightens that out. They have something to go by.
Anybody else?
I would just like to say that the escape rooms at the library and LCC did were awesome at Pumpkin Fest, and if y'all didn't get there, you missed it. Sorry.
I was basking in 98-degree weather.
I would echo your comment.
Ten public with business with the council on items not on the agenda.
You want some just for kicks
No.
and giggles?
If not, we'll go to 11.0 adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
First by Rich, second by Ron. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Goodness, I'm gonna get home so early, I could have
You know
eaten,
it's not 6:30.
I could have eaten afterward instead of swallowing my food.
You can go home and
before.
watch the Packers play now.
Oh, yeah, well, I probably ought to think about packing.